What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Hope everyone is safe and well and getting through this international break well. Back on a boring Sunday, man. I had a day off yesterday. There really wasn't much to talk about. I've always said I don't ever want to force content. You know, I don't just want to put content out for the sake of it. I want it to be something worthwhile to talk about. So back today, a few things going on in the world of Arsenal and transfer business. As you can see by the title in the video, obviously the Martin Ødegaard situation is starting to take shape. And Arsenal are looking at potential replacements just in case that deal doesn't get done. And I think Arsenal need to do their due diligence in case this deal doesn't happen, even though we're all extremely hopeful that it will. Hope some of you guys watched the boxing last night, man. I really enjoyed the boxing, man. Dillian White mashed up Povetkin last night. I do love boxing as well. Any of you who watched that fight, it was a great win for Dillian White. But hey, big up Omar, man, said the clock is working, you know, because the clock's gone forward an hour. I got that little extra time to relax, so I turn up on time now. You know, the Caribbean, man, we do things nice and slow. I think that's the Jamaican in me, innit? But now, big up everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much for giving me your time today. Big up Joshua. He says, big up Curtis, my membership finally reached. Respect, bro. I appreciate that, man. Much appreciated. Membership is available for anybody interested. And right, let's get into the video. Big up everyone. Curtis giving us amazing content on this boring Sunday. Man is on time today. Big up Big C. We missed you, eh? Big up, man. Appreciate all the support. Greetings from Chicago. We'll be glad this international break is over. I have Dominica v Panama in my +3 goals hacker. Yeah, I'll be watching that tonight, actually. I think Dominica play Panama at 9 o'clock this evening. Obviously, the England game is at 5 o'clock, so we will get out of here before the England game. Right, let's have a look at the whole situation. So how this whole situation is sort of coming about is from this story came out about Martin Ødegaard. Apparently, according to reports, Martin Ødegaard has told those close to him that he would like to stay with Arsenal. Player is impressed with Arteta and his project. He will not force through a move from Real Madrid, though. So the ball is now in Arsenal's court to make the deal happen. So a lot of this will depend on the manager, Zinedine Zidane. Zinedine Zidane apparently is not the biggest fan of Martin Ødegaard. Why that is, I don't know. Having read into this story, everything I've read is that Zinedine Zidane doesn't like playing with a number 10. He likes playing with a defensive midfielder and 2 central midfielders to give his Real Madrid team more stability. When he came into Real Madrid, he kind of moved Isco out of the 10 role and played with Casemiro in the CDM role with Modric and Toni Kroos just in front, and he ended up moving Isco out wide. So apparently he's not in favour of a number 10, and he sees Martin Ødegaard as a 10, even though some people say he can play in the 8. He sees him as a 10. So it may be a case of what happens with Zinedine Zidane will dictate what happens with Martin Ødegaard. At the moment, Real Madrid are third. They're not looking like they'll win the league. But the problem is every time Ødegaard plays well, they're going to say, do you know what? We would have sold him to you for 25, 30 million. But now they're probably going to say we want 40 or 50 million for him. And are Arsenal going to have that kind of money to pay that for him? But I suppose the positive is that the player wants to join the club. It's just, you know, as he's saying, he will not force through a move. So with Madrid potentially not winning the league, not winning the Champions League, they may turn around and say, you know, a 22-year-old is worth keeping. So it all comes down to the fact Arsenal didn't get that buy option at the end of the loan, which they should have. But obviously Real Madrid are not an easy team to negotiate with. Sid and Leicester said, Rodriguez, Isco, Ødegaard, all 10s fail under Zidane. And as I said, with Isco, the only reason he kind of did well under Zidane for a little bit is because they played him out wide. But James Rodriguez never did anything under him. And I think Ødegaard is a similar thing. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. You know, all we can do at this time is hope that Arsenal Arsenal somehow win that Europa League, get in the Champions League, I think that then makes the deal happen. Curtis, but Modric and Kroos are aging. Yeah, they are. But again, they're different roles, aren't they? They're much more like deep-lying playmakers than Ødegaard, who plays further up the pitch. And as I said, Zidane doesn't really play with a 10. But we'll have to see with that one. Listen, I'm still hopeful that we can get him. I think a lot of that will be down to what competition we're in at the end of the season. So, all that story came out about Ødegaard. Wants to stay at the club, but of course, you never know what's going to happen. So, Arsenal, do your due diligence. Make sure you've got backups. Right? Make sure you've got backups. Now, today, 2 backup players are being linked with Arsenal in the press. And the first one is a player that we've been linked with many, many times. French international, Nabil Fekir. Now, Fekir... Charles Watts was reporting the story here, said, on the Fekir links that are doing the rounds, I'm told Arsenal are looking at him as a potential target this summer. Odegaard will be the priority, though. Fekir has just switched agents and would be available for around £26 million. 26 million now. Nabil Fekir, he's a fantastic player. Absolute top quality player. Left-footed, number 10, can play out wide, drift off the wing. Of course, he had a fantastic partnership with Lacazette when he was at Lyon. Arsenal were linked with him and apparently scouted him a number of times at Lyon, but the price was too high at the time. Now, of course, Fekir famously was joining Liverpool a couple of years ago. There were even pictures leaked of him wearing the Liverpool kit. Apparently, they were even recording the video of him being announced as a Liverpool player. When they had the second medical, the first medical is just a brief look. The second medical, they have a lot more focus on injuries and long-term injuries and things like that. Fekir, of course, had this knee injury where he did his ligaments and was out for a long time. And apparently there's still issues with this knee injury. Now, it won't stop him playing necessarily, but it's something that could potentially pop up again. Liverpool decided to walk away from the deal at the last minute, and he stayed at Lyon. He then went to Real Betis in Spain a year or so later for a much cheaper price. Now, he's been in Spain for a couple of years, and he's done really well. There's no doubt about his talent. He's an absolutely fantastic player. Is he still that same player that was at Lyon? I thought he was a lot sharper then. I've watched him at Real Betis. He's still a top quality player. But the injury situation worries me. You know, Arsenal and injury-prone players, it doesn't go hand in hand very well. You know, big up my boy Broads TV. Go and check out his channel, of course. Says Fekir is not the player he used to be. That's the worrying thing. 100%. Look at his stats. He's such a baller. Odegaard, Fekir, or Buendia. 26 million for Fekir and 22 for Ceballos incoming. Yeah, I hope we don't buy Ceballos, man. It's a bit too late for Fekir, even as a second option if we can't get Odegaard on a permanent. Injury prone, maybe 2 years ago, but not now. Fekir, too many injuries. Listen, for me, Fekir is talent, no doubt about it, but it worries me, the injury situation, man. I've seen Arsenal do this before. It doesn't often work out. That is my worry. Some of you there asking for his age. I believe, I will get it up just so we're certain, but I believe he's, there you go, people. So Fekir is 27. He turns 28 on the 18th of July. So yeah, you know, as you can see there, his last 2 seasons at Real Betis, he's 32 games, 7 goals, 4 assists. And this season, 25 games, 3 goals, 5 assists. But it was the Lyon stats. You know, you look at his seasons here. Look at that 2017 season, people. 18 goals and 8 assists for a guy playing in the 10 role is unbelievable at that time. But not quite the same player for me. You know, he hasn't been in the French squad too often. And yeah, listen, if we're talking straight talent, the guy's an absolute baller. But the injury situation worries me could that knee injury deal with the Premier League? You know, Liverpool walked away from him at a time when he was on top of his game at Lyon. And if they walked away then, 2 years later, we're revisiting it. You could see Arsenal doing this. You know, it would be a typical Arsenal deal. We should have bought him 2 or 3 years ago, before the knee injury, when he was absolutely on the top of his game with no knee problem. Now he's had the knee injury, and you can see Arsenal going and buying him. It would be so typical of Arsenal to go and do that. As we said, fantastic player, but the injury situation to me is a worrying one, and one that I wouldn't necessarily go for. So now Bill Fekir, £26 million this summer. He'll have 2 years left on his deal. He turns 28 in July. And people asking there, would I take him? If you're talking talent, yeah, but 26 million. If you could get Odegaard for 40 million, who's 22 years of age, I've got to go for Odegaard, for the age, for the longevity, the fact he's had no real injury. This guy's had a major knee injury, 28. It's a tough one, because if you can bring him in and keep him fit for 26 million, it would be a bargain, but I'm not sure it would be one that I'd be looking at personally. Draxler also on the radar. It wouldn't surprise me, bro. Wouldn't surprise me. Julian Draxler is a free transfer this summer. Now, famously, Arsene Wenger chased him for about 2 or 3 years. Every summer we want a Draxler. You wouldn't be surprised if we went for a player like that. He's so Arsenal. It would be typical Arsenal. Anthony Williams, big up Curtis, bro. What you saying? Everything's good, man. I'm just chilling on this Sunday. Going to watch this England game. I'll watch the Dominica game later as well. And at least it's Monday tomorrow. It's the start of Premier League week coming back. Obviously, next Saturday, 8 p.m. kickoff, Arsenal against Liverpool. And I have to say, these international breaks are painful, man. They seriously are. I only really like watching the major tournaments in the summer, but these ones are painful. French Toast League, harsh, man, harsh. 28 now, man, pass. Arsenal get me annoyed. Listen, they're TK Maxx, man, the sale rack at the back with the red stickers. That's what they do. You know, they're buying things that they should have bought years ago. You know, they're buying bootcut jeans nowadays, you know, when bootcuts were 8-9 years ago. They're just out of touch, man. They're out of touch. Dominica play Panama 9 p.m. tonight. So I'll be watching that. Big up the Opinionator Gunnar. Hope you're well, bro. Thank you very much for tuning in. You're giving predictions to all. Well, I'm sure we'll get into that later on in the week in terms of the Liverpool game. Right, so the second one who we're being linked with, the second player, is your boy, Paulo Dybala. Now, this guy is a baller. This guy is an absolute baller. I can't understand how they've kind of just pushed him aside at Juventus. A couple of years ago, I would say the sky's the limit for this guy. But it just hasn't happened for him. I don't know if Cristiano Ronaldo has stopped him from growing. I don't know what the situation is with him. Paulo Dybala's got a year left on his contract this summer. Apparently, at the moment, there's no sign of a new contract. Andrea Pirlo is the manager. And apparently, again, he's not feeling him. He don't want to play him. Now, with a year left on his contract, this would be a player I would seriously be looking at. Seriously. Now, there's talk that last summer, there was a slight inquiry from Juventus for Lacazette. They were looking for a striker that could link up play, hold the ball up. And apparently they inquired about Lacazette. They ended up signing Morata back. Obviously, he's been there before and done well. Now, I know what everyone's thinking, because to me, I look at it, I say, how could we get Dybala? You know, how? He's too good, you know. He would go to a team, I believe, that at the moment is better than Arsenal. You know, I could see him going to Real Madrid. He's still capable of playing at that level. But to me, an unbelievable player. Now, the rumour is they would take around 40 to 50 million pounds for Paulo Dybala with a year left on his deal. Now, for me, if there was a chance, I would do it. The question is, you would expect him to go elsewhere. But I remember when Arsenal were being linked with Aubameyang in that January. People were saying, no, you can't get him. The year before, he'd outscored Lewandowski in the Bundesliga. And people were saying, Aubameyang's not going to go to Arsenal. He's got one of the best goal records in Europe. Sometimes it's just a case of what teams want you at that particular time. Now, I remember when Dybala nearly went to Tottenham a couple of years ago. I remember Poch, it was all over the news. They thought he was going to Tottenham. Obviously, he pied them in the end. But he's still a top quality player. Obviously, 2017-18, 22 goals and 5 assists. Since then, 5 goals, 4 assists, 11 goals and 6 assists last season. Not too bad, considering he doesn't play through the middle. This season, just 2 goals, 2 assists, and only 11 appearances in the league this season. I just can't see it happening, people. I cannot see it happening. But we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. I definitely can't see it happening. Got people making fake accounts with my own name on here. It's all mad, people. It's all mad. Mods, if you can deal with that for me, please, it would be much appreciated. Man said, yo, is there another Curtis Shaw? We got an imposter in here, man. I don't know how they're trying to do that. I've made it, people. They're copying me. I must have made it somewhere. Mods, deal with that for me if you can, please. But yeah, Paulo Dybala being linked with Arsenal. Would you take him? They're saying £40 million. I think we could get him for a little bit less than that, personally. I don't think they could get 40 million for him at the moment. With his situation, he hasn't really been out there for a while. He's on big wages as well. But for me, if you're talking about Fekir or Dybala, I would be going for Dybala, and I would definitely go for him. I would definitely buy him. Of course, 27 as well. But I think he's a fantastic player. Juventus are done out. I'm telling you, they're not the same team right now. They've put all that money into Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's just not happening. It's not happening for them. They don't even look like they're going to win their own league. The league they simply win every year. Obviously, here's the story. Arsenal plot Paulo Dybala transfer. If they can't keep Odegaard, as Juventus confirm, they will listen to offers. Now, it's wide open. I think a lot of bigger clubs, not bigger in the sense of size of the club, but what they are on the pitch. Manchester City, I could see looking at Dybala. Real Madrid, you could see a Bayern Munich or someone like that going for Dybala. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if other clubs went for him, to be honest. But he's a fantastic player. Always rated him. Heard that him and Lionel Messi don't get on, apparently, on international duty. There was a reason, a report once saying that the reason Dybala doesn't start that often for Argentina is because Messi doesn't like him, which is an interesting one. If you don't get on with Messi, you don't make it. There was reports as well that when Sanchez was at Barcelona, Messi didn't like him. He said he was too greedy, didn't pass the ball enough. If Messi don't get on with you, mate, you ain't going nowhere. Broad said, Juve are really not good at buying attackers in that sense. I just think with Dybala, why would you waste a player of that quality? For me, an absolutely brilliant player. But I think they put all their eggs in this Cristiano Ronaldo basket, and it hasn't really worked for them, let's be honest. Swap Lacazette for Dybala. I mean, would they still want him? I know they got Morata last year. I'm not sure whether they would still want Lacazette. And obviously, all these reports are going around at the moment that Mikel Arteta is going to offer Lacazette a new deal. What are your thoughts on that? Lacazette turns 30 in May. Still on 150 grand a week. My personal opinion, I think to have 2 strikers in their 30s picking up that much money and past their best, you're talking about 375 for Aubameyang. He's 31, past his best, still a top player, but not at the very peak of his game. To go and give Lacazette 180, 200 grand a week, give him a 2 or 3 year contract, you're talking £500,000 a week on 2 30-plus-year-old strikers who are not at the top of the game. I think it's time for Arsenal to get a younger, more energetic striker, something a bit different up there. I would use Lacazette's good form to maybe move him on this summer, while he still has a little bit of retail value, if you like. Big up the Red Cannon. Go and check out his channel, people. Always got to support fellow Gooners, Gooner family out here. And he's got very good channel, man. Excellent graphics and that. Why should it be one or the other? Let's have both. Show some ambition, Kroenke. Ambition and Kroenke are two words that I just don't think they ever go together, do they? So I don't think I can't see us buying both of them. That's for certain. Broads and Curtis are famous. I don't know about that, bro. Just a humble guy, simple as that. Look, Broads, we got people imitating Broads now as well. Mods, if you can block these for me. Why have people got so much time to use that? Man said, no, why they use that pic of me? It's harsh, innit? Man use that surprised look face. Dear me. Yeah, so another story before I get out of here. It'll only be a short one today, people. I'm going to go and watch the England game. There ain't much better to do. Is this one. I want to know your thoughts on this. Lucas Torreira will only return to Arsenal if he'll get game time as Atletico loan backfires. I mean, that's an interesting one. He's gone on loan to Atletico Madrid. Apparently, it was a dream move for him. He was desperate to go there. He said before this was a club that he loves. Wanted to play in Spain. Wanted to play under Diego Simeone. He's actually started only 2 games this season in La Liga. It's been an absolutely shocking loan move for him. Some people were even saying that Simeone is not playing him on purpose because he was so angry with the fact that Arsenal activated Thomas Partey's release clause on the final day of the transfer window and left him no time to get an adequate replacement. I mean, these conspiracy theories and all that. But listen, I think it's safe to say Atletico Madrid are not going to sign him. I want to ask the question, people. Would you bring Lucas Torreira back? Would you keep him or would you move him on? I've always thought Torreira was a decent player. I was always a little bit like, I thought he was a little bit too small. I think to be that small and play centre midfield in the Premier League and be successful, you've got to be an exceptional footballer. And I mean centre midfield, not number 10 where you're Silva and Ozil and Juan Mata play. I mean centre mid. The best 2 small central midfielders that I think of straight away, Santi Cazorla and N'Golo Kante. Now, Cazorla was a genius on the ball. And N'Golo Kante is the big, he can just hunt you down anywhere on the football pitch. Anywhere he needs to be, he can hunt you down. Where I feel like Torreira is not on the level of those 2 players. So, listen, for me, I would probably consider selling him. He said many, many times that he wasn't overly comfortable in England. That he's always seemed to want to go back to Italy, and I would possibly use this opportunity to move him on. But listen, one thing I will say for certain, he's definitely better than people like, I would rather have Torreira playing than El Neni, let's put it that way. You could even argue he's probably, Torreira and Thomas Partey would probably be a decent defensive midfield partnership, to be honest. But my problem with Torreira, he's constantly saying, I'm not happy in England. I want to go back to Italy. I think subconsciously, when you've got a player that is thinking about somewhere else, then maybe you're better off moving him on. I do like Lucas Torreira. If he was willing to come back and be a squad player, I wouldn't mind a situation where next summer we had 4 centre mids of maybe Torreira, Thomas Partey, go and get maybe a Basuma, and then maybe one more. I mean, even Guendouzi. Or listen, realistically, the club will probably have Granit Xhaka, even though I wouldn't. But I wouldn't mind having Torreira, Guendouzi, Basuma, and Thomas Partey as I thought. It's certainly a lot better than Ceballos, El Neni, Xhaka, and an injured Thomas Partey. So listen, that's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. And I think the worrying thing for Arsenal now is that his transfer value will have dropped. And I agree with what you're saying. Good luck, Abadi. I think that he's gone to Atletico, saw that the grass isn't greener, and thought, actually, maybe I don't mind staying at Arsenal, you know. Whereas before, he was probably thinking, nah, I want to leave. I'll go Atletico. I'll go there, you know. Mean Box said Torreira would be good with Thomas Partey, possibly. Sell him, he's not good enough. Curtis, would you sell Aubameyang or keep him? I'd keep him. He's 31. He's on huge wages. I don't think anybody would come in and pay big money for Aubameyang. I really don't. I think I think any opportunity we've had of selling Aubameyang for decent money has gone. We could have maybe sold him last summer when he was on fire, but let's be honest, most of the fan base wanted him to stay. Broad said, yeah, then we'll see Xhaka get a contract extension. You can see it happening, can't you? You know, he's played all right for a few games. Then he makes mistakes. But Arteta bigs him up so much, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he gave him a contract extension, man. Opinionator Guna said the grass isn't always greener, and Torreira has learnt that the hard way. Exactly. 2 starts at Atletico Madrid, you know, even if they won the league, you didn't have nothing to do with that league title, you know. So, yeah. Anyone is good with Partey. He does seem to make everyone look better, that's for certain. Big up William, he said, Curtis, we need to keep Lacazette. We shouldn't waste our transfer funds on a striker. We need to prioritise funds on a right-back, centre-mid, centre-back and left-back. I get what you're saying. And listen, I've said a similar thing. I think that even though I would like to see us upgrade Lacazette, I think we've got so much business to do in this summer that I think the club will keep him on a short-term contract extension, in my opinion. I don't think the club will sell Lacazette unless they get a big offer. Damien said, Curtis, why are you so cold on Guendouzi? Do you know what is with Guendouzi? I've got no problem with Guendouzi as a player. I think he's got talent. He's 21 years of age. He's the French under-21 captain. My problem with Guendouzi is the attitude, the petulance. You know, he acts like a bit of a spoiled kid, man. Do you know what I mean? And we're in a bad situation. You know, we're in a bad situation. Our team ain't good enough. We're 9th in the league. We're struggling. You can't afford to have players in acting like babies, man. You know, he needs to grow up a little bit. If he's grown up at Hertha Berlin, then fine. By all means, bring him back. I think he's a talented footballer, Guendouzi. You know, I would rather see Guendouzi playing than El Neni. You know, 21, French international, French under-21 captain. He might be worth 40, 50 million in a couple of years. You know, I would. It's just the attitude that is the reason why I don't really defend Guendouzi. But listen, I think he'll be at Arsenal pre-season because I don't think he will get sold straight away. I really don't. But Curtis, Guendouzi was never a problem. I mean, listen, Arteta says different, don't he? You know, that he had a bad attitude and stuff, but we'll see. Meza Ozil said, I feel that Balogun and Martinelli are brilliant backup strikers. I agree, and I just want to see Balogun, number one, given a new contract, give him a chance, and give Martinelli a chance. You know, for me, sell Eddie and Nketiah and give these guys a chance. Eddie's had loads of games up front, and we can see that he's not the answer. So, you know, give these guys a chance. Big up Luke Nobes, he said, Curtis, I think height is quite important in the league, and Arteta has spoken about the side being on the smaller side when we brought Chambers back in. First of all, Luke, thank you very much for your super chat. Much appreciated. And yeah, I think you have to have physically big, strong teams. Yeah, you may have a couple of technicians around that are a little bit smaller, but you need pace and power in the modern game. That's what the game is built on nowadays. And, you know, I agree. I think we need to be a stronger, more physical opposition so that when we're not playing well, we can't get bullied. You know, that's the thing. Big up Jack. He said, afternoon, Curtis. Hope you're well. We hope you're good, bro. Luke said, you're welcome, bro. Yeah, I appreciate your super chat, bro. Thank you very much. Shaka said, you don't want Basuma. AFCON is back in January. Oh, bro. Do you know what? It's a great comment because I saw that El Neni, Aubameyang, Partey, and Pepe, they've all qualified for the AFCON in January next year. We could potentially have Aubameyang, Partey, Pepe, and El Neni for up to 6 weeks. Now, obviously, maybe El Neni won't be at the club, but that is a big problem. That is a big, big problem. Now, the rumor was they were trying to move the African Cup of Nations to the summer, but they've decided to keep it in January next year. And that's going to be a big problem now. Like you're saying there, you signed Basuma as well. Arsenal could have half a team missing in January. So we've got to be careful with the players we go for, man, which is a big shame. But, you know, it's very difficult to lose a player for 4 to 6 weeks. Man said, no, keep Eddie. Nah, man, the credits ran out, bro. I'm telling you. Our team is screwed for AFCON. Damn, man. I mean, listen, one thing I'm hoping is, without being disrespectful, Aubameyang plays for Gabon. They don't often get far in those tournaments. We need him getting knocked out in the group stage. But the problem is, Partey plays for Ghana. They usually go far. And Pepe plays for Ivory Coast. They do well a lot of the time. And El Neni's with Egypt to do well. So, you know, we got to be careful. We could have half a team missing come January next year. Just compare Ndidi to Torreira. Yeah, there's no comparison. He would savage him. He would savage him. We are moving like Newcastle under Pardew. Half the team has gone to AFCON. Oh, man. It's I remember, yeah, he had Demba Ba and Cisse and all them, man. Mustafa said I would sell Lacazette, play Aubameyang and Martinelli. I would have no problem with that. I would have no problem. I think one of the problems is I think Arteta wants a striker that's very competent with his back to goal. And I think Lacazette ticks that box more than Aubameyang and maybe more than Martinelli, although we haven't seen him up front too often. I just think he loves the link-up striker. And the player that more Lacazette is kind of ticking that box at the moment more than Aubameyang. I mean, people are saying they would sell Aubameyang, right? Aubameyang turns 31. Who would sign a 31-year-old on 375 grand a week who is out of form? You know, who would buy him? Who would buy him? You would want decent money for him. Last summer was different. He was on like 180 grand a week. He was just turning 30. He was on fire last season as well. That was the time to sell him if you were going to sell him. The club decided they couldn't afford to sell him. He was too good. So for me, you've got no option of selling Aubameyang, in my opinion. The club aren't just going to let him go for peanuts. So I know people are very frustrated with Aubameyang at the moment, but I think we've just got to support him. Like I said, he turns 31. He turns 32 this summer. You ain't getting big money for Aubameyang. You're just not. PSG, I don't think they would do it. I really don't. They've got Neymar. You know, they've got Mbappe. They bought Icardi for decent money. I just don't think they would go for him. China, I mean, maybe China, but would they pay him what he's on or more? Would he even want to go to China? I don't know. Napoli definitely wouldn't pay those kind of wages. MLS, I think he'd like to go there, but I'm not sure could they pay him that kind of money. I don't think they pay that type of money. Aubameyang found a stupid club. He found the convenience. He knew, like, listen, I can't go and get that wage anywhere else. But the problem is, like you're saying here, Opinionated Guna, Aubameyang's wages have held us to ransom. There's nothing we can do. When you're in a weak position as a club, these are the things you have to do. We did the same with Ozil. We've done the same with Aubameyang. You let them get down to a year of that deal and they hold all the cards. They can say whatever. Yeah, give me 375 or I'll go. The picture looked very grey and dark if Aubameyang left. Who would have replaced Aubameyang in the summer? We only spent 80 million on all of our players in the summer, you know, so the replacement was too difficult. So they had to take the chance. We may find a situation where that contract is hamstringing us in a year or so. But I'm still backing Aubameyang for this season. I still think he can lead us to Europa League glory. I'm hoping. Aubameyang will be back. Listen, I still rate him, but he's definitely out of form. But I still believe he can. I still believe he can do something for us. Damien said Xhaka needs to get a season. Nah. We can't wish injuries on players, man. I know it's frustrating with players, man, but we can't wish injuries on footballers, man. Did you see Goldbridge video about Arsenal? Goldbridge is a bit of a, he's a bit of a wind-up merchant. I've met him a few times. He's a decent guy to speak to and that. He made some good points, but also some of it was slandering Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? His video was, are Arsenal the new Everton? Well, I'm not being funny, mate. I can't remember the last time Everton won a trophy. I think it was the FA Cup. years and years ago. You know, we've won 3 or 4 trophies in the last 5 or 6 years, even being as bad as we've been. So I don't think you can say Arsenal are the new Everton. I'm sure Man United haven't won a trophy since, Mourinho a few years ago. So listen, while I understand what he was saying to a point, I agreed with a lot of the things he was saying, but he also was, stirring the pot. He was saying, and this is what I agreed with him. I think there was a point made that Arsenal have took 4 points off Manchester United this season. We haven't lost to them, and they haven't scored against us in 3 games. So they were saying that, I think it was on AFTV, they were saying that it would make Arsenal favourites in the Europa League final against Man United. But then the reality is, surely they would be the favourites just based off the fact that they're second in the Premier League. They're 16, 17 points ahead of us. They've got a better team than us. All right, our manager has got the better of their manager. But I remember this situation when we played Chelsea in the Europa League final. Everyone said, we've had a good record against them this year. And we got to the final. Sometimes in finals, know-how is the difference. Knowing how to win that final. And I think that's why Chelsea beat us in the Europa League final, because players like Giroud, Pedro, Hazard, Kante, David Luiz, they had that know-how of this is how you manage a final. We were a little bit naive in that final. How many real winners have we got in the Arsenal team? So for me, if we get Man United in the final, of course we can beat them. But I would be nervous. I would be nervous because the reality is they've got better team than us. Do you know what I mean? They've got know-how. They've got players like Pogba, World Cup winners, So I get what he's saying in a sense. He's saying, listen, your ambition should not to be, just we took 4 points off Manchester United. That's not enough. The reality is we're 9th in the league, and they're 2nd in the league. I've said many times, right? Big up my boy Franny Green in here, Forever Football with Franny Green. Go and check out his channel. I did an interview with him yesterday on his show. We're going to be doing regular content. He's a former pro footballer like myself, and we did a half an hour show yesterday. Go and check out that interview. Subscribe to his channel. Arsenal have to lift their ambition again. We have to lift the ambition. If the fans aren't ambitious, how do we expect the club to ever reach the heights again? Now, of course, we have to be realistic with how we are at the moment. We're 9th, so I can't say next season, right, I want Arsenal to win the title. It's not realistic. It's my hope, but it's not realistic. A realistic target for next season should be get back in the top 4. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think fans have to demand more. And this is what my frustration is with Mikel Arteta and the fan base at times. I've got no problem with a fan saying things like, okay, Arteta's had a lot to deal with, or he's got rid of a lot of a dead wood, or we're playing better since Christmas. All of those things are fine, and I agree with that. You've seen me. I haven't had cones out on the stream for months. I haven't done an Arteta out show since about December. So clearly, things are improving. But on the flip side, let's not sit there and pretend that this is good enough, 9th in the league. If he doesn't win the Europa League this season, I think this season's been a disaster. And you're not going to get a much better opportunity to win the Europa League than this. Slavia Prague and then Villarreal or Dynamo Zagreb. Win 2 of those to get to a final is a fantastic opportunity. And then you get to the final, you're looking at Ajax, Roma or Man United. It's the best opportunity we've had at the last 3 years. Even under Emery, we had to beat Napoli, Valencia and Chelsea, which we didn't. Under Arsene Wenger, we played a prime Atletico Madrid in that semi-final. So it's a great opportunity for this manager, and he's got to take it. Winning trophies speeds up a process. Do you know what I'm saying? All this trust the process, he needs 2 or 3 years. You win this Europa League, next year we can be back. We can go and spend 100 million if we're back in the Champions League. Whether Kroenke will, but we should be able to. Don Draper says, big up Big C, we might be in the same situation as against Chelsea in the Europa League final, playing against a team who has already qualified for the Champions League, therefore under less pressure. Spot on, bro. Spot on. You know, Chelsea didn't even need to win that game. They were already in the Champions League, but they outwitted us. Someone said they know how Ollie's lost 4 semi-finals, but I'm more talking about the players. You know, I get what you're saying with Ollie, but let's face it, if the players turn up on the day, that's not really much to do with the manager. You know, if Pogba turns up and he bosses that game and Bruno's on fire and Rashford's at it, they're too much for us to handle, you know? But if we turn up and, you know, Partey bullies Pogba and we stop Bruno and we get Aubameyang playing, of course we can beat them as well. New owners don't change anything. We could end up like Sunderland or AC Milan. Well, if you get the right owners, it's all about the right owners, you know? Alric Harris, Curtis, please answer me. What age a coach should give up on a player? That's very difficult to say, bro, because, you know, you've seen with players like Jamie Vardy, you know, he made it to the top level in his mid-20s. I remember when I was a young player, if you weren't a pro at like 18, 19, you felt like your career was not going to happen because it seemed more difficult to get into the game at that age. Everyone was like, you have to be in a professional academy, then sign a pro and go that way. Now you're seeing a lot of players come out of non-league football at 22, 23, 24, you know, even like 26, 27. Maybe not in the Premier League, but League 2, League 1. So there is no age that you should give up on a player. You know, I've seen players come out of non-league at 28, 29 and get a move to, you know, the Conference League 2 and have a career late on. So, no, there's no age. There's no age. It's all about the progress and the talent of the player. So, you know, trust the dream, man. Chase the dream, people. It's the players, Curtis, as Kevin Campbell would say. I should have Kev on this week. I'm going to have a few people on this week as we build up to that Liverpool game and the end of this international football. Before we get out of here, thank you all for tuning in, by the way. Much, much appreciated as always. Let me show you the England team. Let me show you the England team. They're about to play Albania. We'll just have a quick look because I'm always interested to see who they're starting. So, Nick Pope in goal. Kyle Walker at right back. Luke Shaw plays at left back. Stones and Maguire at centre back. Midfield is Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. I believe it's Mason Mount in the 10 with Sterling on the left, Foden on the right, and Harry Kane through the middle. Obviously, one bit of news surrounding Arsenal actually was that Saka's pulled out of international duty. Apparently, he does still have a slight injury, although they believe he should be available for Liverpool. So he won't feature in any of the England games. You know what? We're going to have to look. I'm going to have to do a stream about this England team because what is England's best team? You know, you look at certain players. There's a lot of disputes going off. Which players should play where? What midfielders? I think moving forward, Stones and Maguire will probably be his centre-back pairing. I think Stones has rescued his England career by the season he's had at Man City and the fact he's going to win the league. I think Luke Shaw has been the best English left-back this season and has probably earned the right to play. Who should play at right-back? I mean, I still can't believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold is not in the squad. Now, you can tell me he hasn't had as good a season. You can tell me defensively he's not as good. But this guy's just won the Champions League and the Premier League. International football, sometimes it takes moments of brilliance. No one can cross a better ball than Trent Alexander at right back for England. You got Kieran Trippier in the squad. He's an absolute bang average right back. This guy got banned for betting cheating the other week. He got a 10-game ban at Atletico Madrid. He's bang average. Kyle Walker's not even that great anymore. I like Reece James. I think he's a good right back. I think Wan-Bissaka's good defensively, not good on the ball. I just cannot believe that Trent, Champions League winner and Premier League winner, doesn't get in the England squad. Like, it's mad. But we got players like Eric Dyer and, you know, I don't know. That one makes no sense to me whatsoever. I do like Reece James. I admit I do like him, but Trent not in the squad. Come on. He would start for most countries in world football with that kind of attacking talent. No doubt about it. Bellingham for me is a top player. The bigger question for me, not how he doesn't start for England. I want to know why no English club went in for him. Why do English clubs sit back and allow young English talent to leave England and go to Germany, Spain, Italy, wherever? Bellingham left England for 14 million, left Birmingham to Dortmund. Do you know how much is he going to cost when Dortmund sell him back to the Premier League? You'll pay 50, 60 million for him to come back. This is the lack of development and the lazy coaching and you know, from these English clubs at times, you know, always wanting the finished article. Yeah, there you go. Musiala's gone to what? Bayern Munich. That's it. He doesn't want to play for England. He's going to become a superstar. You can see it. Bellingham is superb. He's got so much maturity in his game. It's unbelievable. Always cheaper when they go abroad. Yeah, that's true. Go abroad, the price will drop. Trent, it's not too late to join the Jamaican Revolution. I'm telling you, man, get on board, Trent. He's obviously played for England in a competitive game, so, you know. No, listen, I don't want other English clubs to get better, but I'm just saying I want to see, you know, young talent given a chance, and it's a shame when quality young players have to go abroad to get an opportunity when they should be over here. I'd sack Southgate for picking Dyer. I mean, Dyer's not playing today. Eric Dyer, to me, is one of them players that, you know, I just feel like he was that player as a kid who no one could believe he got picked. You know, you had certain kids, their dad would turn up in a brand new Mercedes and the player would have all the newest boots. You know, and his dad was friends with the manager, but then you watched him on the pitch and you go, this guy's bang average. How's this guy getting in the team? You know, that's what Eric Dyer is. Eric Dyer was definitely that guy growing up. You know, definitely that guy. 100%. Because he should be playing. I don't know who he should be playing for, but he shouldn't be playing for England. Eric Diabolical, I call him. Shocking player. All the gear, no idea. I'm telling you, bro, this stuff goes off. My son's in an academy now. These people are giving the coaches Christmas presents. Turning up to training with a Christmas present, little bribe. You know what I mean? Probably a Rolex watch in there, bro. It happens, I'm telling you. It happens, man. Football in this country is mad. Eric Dyer, you know, mad. That guy is so limited. Yeah, Dyer's definitely nicking a living. This guy's on like 80, 90 grand a week at Tottenham. Like, how is he at that level? He should be in the Championship, bro. Rolex, you know that, man. Yo, there's a little Rolex, man. Just make sure your boy gets through the academy this year. That stuff happens, man. But yeah, Eric Diabolical, as I call him. Terrible player. And I can't stand him because he tried to bat up Arsenal. Then we had to turn him over. Battered him that day. Remember, he was punching the ear when Kane scored. And then Dyer scored the header, actually. And then Aubameyang and Lacazette turned him over. Big C, you played for Dominican Republic in the Dominica, bro, not Dominican Republic, but a lot of people would say that anyway. What's the dressing room in a World Cup team like? It's different, man. It's different. They haven't got the same facilities and opportunities that we got over here in England. But listen, it was a great experience. Great experience, man. Yeah, well, I'll go into more detail about these kind of things in future videos, man. But yeah, it was a great opportunity. What guests have you got on this week? I think Robbie, Kevin Campbell, and I'll sort out a few others. Sunday, I always start reaching out. So today, I'll reach out, man. St. Lucia and Canada, bro, it was. St. Lucia in a friendly. And then Canada was the qualifier. So yeah, listen, people, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy watching the England game or whatever you're doing for the rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. We'll get down to the serious business, start looking ahead to the Arsenal game on the weekend. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Enjoy, people. Bless.